And good afternoon. It's another episode of the Gary and Mark Show.
It is.
And I'm Gary.
And guess what? I'm Mark.
And you know, this is probably our last episode of the year.
It is our first season.
Our first season. And we're coming to you. We're not live, but
we are alive.
And we're glad.
And this is the second time we've been to this place. Where is it, Gary?
This is the Southern Appalachian Brewery in Hendersonville, North Carolina, right off of Locust Street.
A nice town to visit and live. Yeah. And I don't live or visit. I do visit here. I don't live here.
And you are let's say a 10-minute walk from a little hilltop where you could view both Bearwalla Mountain. You could look off at Sugarloaf in the distance. You'd turn around the other way, Laurel Park.
You know what? You better be quiet because people might start moving here.
Well, I think they have.
They have.
Yeah.
And so this does close out the very first season of the Gary and Mark podcast.
Yeah.
And we are happy to have so many listeners.
Yes.
Thanks for listening.
Yes.
I know it sounds like it's been a short season, but when you're our age, you don't want a season to last a whole year.
No.
No, you got to speed things up.
Yeah.
Save time, save money, and we can do that by having a short season.
Yeah, by just pushing the fast forward button, which we've learned how to do.
That's right. So I think this is episode 21 or so, but we want to wish everyone a happy holiday, whatever you might celebrate.
Yeah, happy holiday.
And we'll look forward to seeing you again in the winter, I guess, after January 1 or so, around then.
You know, my wife and I just stumbled into, there's a little pop-up bookstore in Burnsville. A friend of ours was a womaning. She was in charge of it. She's an author, and it's a malaprops bookstore in Asheville. And so the book's displayed, and I knew I was going to pick one. And the one, I can't remember the title exactly, it won a Children's Book Award prize. I don't know if it's the Caldecott method. I used to know.
Caldecott has to do with art, I think, and Newberry has to do with writing.
Anyway, it got a prize. I couldn't tell you which one, but
maybe it was the Gary and Mark prize.
Yeah. Oh, I would, because
prestigious.
Just the illustration on it, and it was kind of a title, something, the shortest night or the longest night of the year.
And so we took a little break there, and so because we had a guest show up.
Yes, we did.
Unexpected.
And
you never know who's going to show up.
We never know who's going to show up.
And here you go. And who showed up? Captain Jim Lombardo. You any relation to Guy?
I wish I was. I wouldn't be a captain.
Well, you know, and didn't he like racing boats?
He did, actually. It's funny question. Yeah.
Actually,
I'm sure we're related somewhere in the history, but
anyway,
he's Kim, but I don't claim him.
All right, so this guy, here you go. He's Captain Jim Lombardo, and you've been doing this since 2000?
Way before that. You know, I grew up in South Florida and going to the Bahamas since I was a kid. So
do you own a boat?
I do, unfortunately.
What size boat?
I own two, one 30 feet and one 65-foot Hatteras Sportfish.
Yeah.
Wow. So you take it.
And then I work on a boat that's 68 feet.
Wow. What kind of boat is that?
Family. It's a Sportfish Hatteras.
Goodness gracious. So
we
like to catch blue marlin. A whole different world.
A whole world, I know.
A whole different world.
Tiny about.
It's not like fly fishing.
Yeah.
So it's not often we bring people in who just kind of walk off the street, but that's what we have here. And we have a real crowd watching us. Okay, listen to them. Listen to them. Okay,
this is
first time with it. Oh,
they're even getting louder.
It up.
They're even getting louder. I can hear them. Okay.
Yeah.
They're out there. So we've had guests on the show. In fact, we just had about 3 or 4 episodes back. Pam Stone. You might know her if you ever watched the TV show Coach.
Of course, yeah.
She was Coach Judy Watkins, the big, tall, 6'1" female coach.
Well,
we had her on our show.
Oh, and she's up from around here, isn't she?
Yep.
She lives here now, yes.
Yeah.
Now down near Watershed, where
she's
we're
a
from.
full 6-footer.
Oh, yeah.
She is.
And
you're no short guy yourself, Gary.
Well, I'm getting shorter, but she's just as genuine a human. No
she
BS.
Is.
She's great.
She is.
I liked her.
She was a lot of fun to have on the show. It was an hour long, so hopefully you get to hear that.
Hey, whenever you get a woman on the show, it's all good.
That's the first one we had. Actually, we had one of our. You would like this because you're a beer drinker, and yours is actually the big one. We have
I'm a captain. All captains are drinkers.
Our third sponsor, but not while you're chartering.
No. There you go. He's got the good stuff.
So you would appreciate this. Our first official sponsor, Green River Eddie's Tap Room down in Saluda.
Yeah. Oh yeah, sure. Been there.
Where Green River Eddie's?
Yeah, of course.
Well, okay then.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, they'll be.
Even though I'm a Florida boy and I grew up, in South Florida, I've been a lot through North Carolina.
Well, in what before we went on the broadcast talking, you went to a summer camp here.
Yeah, I went to Camp Highlander.
Yeah,
yep, still
when
there.
I was 13. I'm 54 years old, so
you only went one year.
You do the math.
You only went 1 year?
No, I went 3 years. 3 years, and my son.
So that's
you just
40
saw a
years
minute
ago.
He went there when he was 15.
So you're 54. You went 40 years ago.
Yeah,
roughly. So
yeah.
40 years ago. That's what, 79?
Yeah, right about then. Yeah, you're right.
That's the summer.
You're a mathematician, aren't you?
Well, no, but that was the summer. I was a seasonal at the Sandberg home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So on your business card, it has Master 200 gross ton. What does that refer to?
That refers to the size of the boat I can run. So the license is based on the size of the boat, and 200 ton was back in the early days. A ton was a TONNE. It wasn't TON. TONNE was how many. 1 ton was a barrel of rum. So how many barrels of rum you could fit under the water line in a vessel. So on the big wooden vessels, each ton and the gross ton of that vessel is based on how much they could store below the water line.
So you learn something new every day.
Well, and my first question is how many barrels of rum do you store below the water line of your boat now?
So
or do you want
the boats that I run right now are right around 100 tons. So they're a little bit lighter than what I can run. I've run bigger boats, but I'm more into sport fishing now. So
how did you get into this as a living?
I grew up in South Florida, and I grew up going to the Bahamas my whole life.
Well,
and
that's why he's sitting here now. It's maybe 50 degrees. The guy's got on shorts and a T-shirt. Mark and I live around here. I've got on 3 layers.
See, usually it's the other way around.
It is usually, and I have all my stuff inside.
Yeah,
I worked in
but
New
he's
Orleans.
not shivering or anything.
I worked in New Orleans, and those kids would be shivering at 60 degrees because we're used to 70 and 80. So yeah, that seemed different. So have you been here to Southern App before?
No, this is my first time.
No, my first time too.
Yeah.
Well, actually, it's my second time.
Yeah, I like it that they made my alcoholism a hobby.
There you go.
Everywhere we go now, everybody's got a brewery or something else.
Right.
But I love it. I love it. I love the atmosphere, and everything's great. The beer is fantastic.
You think you would ever move up here?
They made. Oh yeah.
You would?
Yeah, we're talking about it actually.
My
mother has a house up here in Hendersonville, and my sister just bought a house up here in Hendersonville.
So I'll tell you,
my wife is giving me the hassle. Hey, when are we moving up?
You can't put a 200 gross ton boat on Lake Summit.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
that's the problem. I
have to get a canoe.
Well, what is it here? The fastest place to get to is Charleston.
Yeah. But that's my livelihood. That's why I live where I live, and eventually. I'm not getting any younger, You
know what you could do? You ever thought about virtual reality boats?
Yeah.
You could get people like in here, and you put them on those eye things, and you show them movies of fly fishing, or deep
blue
sea
marlin,
fishing. Yeah, they'd love it.
Yeah, it's funny because a lot of people are really excited about fly fishing, and I do. I mean, it's great sport, but that's bait to me. I mean, when you catch a fish on a fly, that's what I use for bait. My fish, the fish that we catch are, anywhere from 30 pounds to 500. So it's a different world.
It's a different world. Yeah.
Well, we are glad to have a walk-in guest.
Yeah, and he kind of makes his living outdoors.
He does. We're both outdoors people. So,
but I grew up in a landlocked state of Kentucky, so it's it's like you're from Mars.
My grandfather was born and raised in Kentucky.
Really?
There you go.
Do you know where?
And, Raina.
Ugh.
It's like up in the
I'm
sticks.
gonna say that's probably
I'm Pioneer
in the
stock.
mountains.
I'm Pioneer stock.
Yeah.
And he had 13 brothers and sisters, 1-bedroom house.
Yeah.
Wow. You know, we have like 3 listeners from Kentucky, so
Yeah.
you
And then the funny thing, his name was Roy Tuggle.
Tuggle.
Yeah,
There's a
Tuggle.
tug fork of a tug fork. There's a
He
river.
left when he was 13, and he saw that all the nice cars had Ohio license on it.
The Otucks. That's what. No, they'd go work in Ohio.
Yeah, so
The
he
people
would.
from Otucks.
So he jumped on that freight train and went to Ohio when he was 13, and went in to apply for a job as a janitor. And the guy said, "Oh, here's your, you got to read and write and put everything." He goes, "I can read or write." He said, "If I could read or write, I'd still be a freaking janitor." And then he went in and he started working in a hamburger restaurant. And one thing led to another, and he eventually bought the place and became a restaurateur. Way back in the time before hamburgers were even invented.
Wow.
So he started a company called Burger Boy, and it was a big back then early 1950s. He had a drive-in.
Well, you may have heard of that up in
Yeah.
Kentucky.
BBF.
Now we had, what we had.
Remember
was
the whirling
Big Boy. We had
Big Boy. Yeah, Burger Boy was a different.
Okay. And then there
Burger
was
Boy.
Jerry's.
Yeah.
Burger. Yeah.
BBF, the whirling satellite.
All
I don't know
right.
if you remember, West Virginia, Ohio, and then he sold it to Borden, the milk company.
Yeah.
And then they ran it into the ground.
Let's say they
his-
probably got bought by
his buddy,
IBM or something.
his buddy from Columbus, Dave Thomas, said he was starting
Mr. Wendy's.
he was starting a
Yeah.
hamburger place, and he said, "We need some money." And my grandfather said, "You're nuts, but I'll give you some money." And eventually, he became the 4th largest stockholder of Wendy's International.
Oh,
My goodness.
there we go.
So Jim's wife's here right now asking for money.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
So
I had to pay the
and she,
bill with his
she actually
money.
didn't just.
And we want to acknowledge, since we don't have video, he handed it over willingly.
With-
what a nice
without
wife.
question.
Yeah, what a
I
nice,
think
nice husband.
I
Yeah.
think they get along pretty well.
Yeah, not a problem at all.
There you go.
Yeah, as
now
long as she's got the wallet.
That she took off with it. So, Jim, we're glad you're here. Don't leave yet because we're about to wrap up our session.
about to wrap up.
We want to introduce. We're going to bring on a friend of ours, Chris
All right.
Peters,
Chris Peters.
who has just recently, about several months ago, moved into a
Another retirement home.
assisted living place, and down in Watershed, where we're based out of Watershed, North Carolina, they're about to open up their very first retirement community.
There you go.
It's called Trails End.
Trails in.
I'm not sure why.
Trails.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
I don't know either. It's not. It may not
Trails
be.
End.
It may
Shit,
not-
how about the beginning of the end or
well,
something? I don't know.
We don't know what, but Chris doesn't like where he lives up in Spring House up in
Yeah.
Maryland somewhere. So we were wanting Chris to be one of the first residents to move into Trails End down here in Watershed. So we decided to call him, and here's how that conversation went.
Well, hey there, Mark.
Well, Chris Peters, how are you?
I'm hanging in there. How are you?
Well, we are fine. So I just want you to know before you say anything bad, you are being recorded now because you were on the Gary and Mark show.
Hey, Chris. It's Gary.
Oh, my God. Gary Evelyn, how are you?
I'm okay.
Well, I certainly hope it's a better place than where I am now.
Well, what's wrong with the place where you are now?
Well, there are all kinds of issues. I mean, the fact is that the majority of the residents are 85 to 90 years old plus.
And now, so that should make you like a young whippersnapper.
Yeah.
Well, I am a young whippersnapper, and all the ladies around here are after me. No,
Wait.
I'm just kidding.
So have you been snapping your...
I'm sorry.
I think so. You got the older ladies after you, huh?
Well, I'm being facetious, although they do raise their eyebrows every now and then, and I think sometimes I make them go a little bit of Twitter, but
There you go. You may be keeping them alive.
That's right.
I guess I maybe I am to some degree. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
You could be like the Brad Pitt in that house.
That's true.
I hadn't thought about it that way,
well,
but I might very well be.
Yeah.
So, has the food improved up there?
Absolutely not. They have a new food services director here, and she said she was going to make improvements, but I have not seen anything improved. It still is pretty god awful, is all I can say.
Is it better than camp or worse?
Oh, far worse. Believe me, far worse.
So what'd you have for breakfast?
Yeah,
today?
I'm curious. Or lunch, either one.
Well, I mean, I look at what they have on the menu, and it's ground up something or other that they got out of the sewer somewhere.
So do they have like a different menu for people who still have their teeth? Or
no. It's the same for everybody.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so
no one has to be fed anything more ground up or whatever than we already have.
That sounds typical though.
Yeah.
I mean, that's none of us are far from that. So
yeah.
Well,
I have to watch what I eat. I can't bite into anything very super hard because it may break something off. So.
Well, that's certainly possible, but this goes beyond the point of being ground up or anything. I mean, just the quality that they of the ingredients that they put in is substandard in my opinion.
Well,
but
what was a good meal you had? Can you think of one?
Yeah.
It's not hard to think, but usually it's usually one that falls around a holiday. I was not here for Thanksgiving, but I've been here, for other ones.
Where were you at Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving, I was at.
Now be clean because this may be on the air. So
no.
Okay.
I would say she's beyond a girlfriend. She's sort of like a significant other, fiance type, somewhere in between. And she takes as good care as she can of me. And I'm very grateful for that. So I went over to where her retirement community where she's living.
Yeah,
she lives in a sad one, I've heard, right? Really sad place.
No, hardly.
Oh, really? So she's in a fancy place.
Oh, very fancy. Yep. It's the creme de la creme of retirement communities here in Baltimore. And just had a great meal yesterday. Most beautiful carved turkey you'd ever want to see, and vegetables and this, that, and the other and desserts. It was great.
So did you come back to your place and boast and brag about what you had?
No. No, I don't really talk to anybody. I mean, I just come back, and most everybody's gone to bed by the time I get back.
Yeah. So what time is the bingo game this afternoon?
Well, if there is one, I don't know. What time is it now? It may be ongoing right now.
Why? We don't want to keep you from that. So.
Oh God, please no! Don't keep.
I mean, Gary and I like bingo.
Yeah.
Well, that's all fine and good, but I don't want to sit there with whatever it is, the pieces or whatever that you use for the game. I see them flying all over the room.
Well, we just wanted
I want to get back to my room and do stuff.
Yeah. Well, and I've seen pictures of your room. You've shown me on FaceTime. It's a nice looking place. It's a nice looking place.
Yeah, it's okay. It's a little too small though, but that's all right. I'm managing.
Yeah.
If it were any bigger, I mean, I'd be in the poorhouse.
Yeah, I understand that.
These places are expensive, let me tell you.
Well, it was good talking with you. We just wanted it. One, we're testing out whether we can record a phone call. So you're our very first test of that, which is good to hear. Everything sounds good to me.
Well, that's really sweet, and I appreciate this call.
And since you
And
haven't said,
hope that you all hope that everybody had a good Thanksgiving down there in North Carolina.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you, Chris.
Yeah.
It's been a few
it's
years.
interesting that you do your thing from Saluda. I can't tell you the number of hours I used to spend down there watching the trains come down the hill.
Yeah.
Yep, that's our
back in the day.
That's where we usually record. Today we're actually in Hendersonville, though, at a place that that's only 1.3 miles from Gary's house. So.
It's a brewery that, this was it's the site. There was a Wellington Puritan mill here back when you were at camp. And this was the place we would come. Shell would send us up on town trips to get spools of parachute cord that had imperfections in it, so we got it, I think, for 3 cents a foot, and we sold it 2 cents a foot, and we sold it for a nickel a foot.
So you were selling it to make like tarps.
This was in Ties,
I remember that.
Yeah,
Wow.
and then the 10 by 10, we'd get 100-foot roll of 4 mil plastic and cut up 10 tarps, and you'd sell those.
And I remember
the
Army ponchos went down to the ground. And the kids would wear like little.
Yeah, it looked like little trolls or little. Yeah.
Well, Chris, it's been fun talking with you. And
it's been fun. Gary, say hello to Barbara for
I will.
And if she remembers me, it's been a long time.
Oh, she remembers.
I remember her. And I remember our fun times in Taj.
Taj, yes.
Yeah. I remember smoke coming out the window.
I just remember. Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway,
I think Mark was the only linehead who didn't smoke. You were one. Right. Ray Thompson did. Jack Miller did. I did. Yeah.
I'm surprised we didn't set the place on fire.
I know, and they have a new Taj. I have not seen it.
Oh, it's nice.
Yeah, and Chris hasn't seen it. So if you get down to North Carolina, Chris, we'll all go over there, and we'll do a podcast from there.
It is a worthy building. Bill Burdett built that, and then we got to go over and look at the new that still may be under construction, the new Thunderhead cabin.
You were telling me about that.
Yeah,
Thunderhead cabin.
Thunderhead.
Remember?
Thunderhead. I'm sorry. I drew a blank there for a minute. Yes, I remember. Wow, but a Thunderhead cabin. Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Well, we're going to.
That's great.
Well, it's good talking with you, Chris.
Yeah.
Thanks for not.
Good talking with you all. You all take care, and happy holidays ahead.
And same to you.
Thanks a lot. We'll see you, Chris.
Take care.
See you. Right.
Well, Chris, it was good hearing from Chris. It has been a good first season.
Yeah.
Been a great year down in Watershed.
Yeah.
We're going to look forward to having everybody back here again next year.
And Captain Jim, who happened to show up.
We're glad to have him on our show.
Yeah, and took us on a fishing trip.
That would be nice.
If anybody's interested, you can call me.
That's right. So
all right, here you go.
Give it to him.
What do you
954-295-1678 down in South Florida.
Say it again real slow.
954-295-1678 if you're ever in South Florida.
And when you say South Florida, you mean what?
Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah, I'll bet if they Google like something Captain Jim Lombardo.
Well, actually, I have a website.
Lombardo. Jim.
What is the website?
Website is catchmesportfishing.com.
And you can also email him at lombo@att.net.
Yep. Come on down.
Yeah, right. How many people
maybe we can have a podcast down on the boat.
Oh yeah.
You know what?
Hold us with wet hands and then release us.
So
they catch us.
You come down, when it's cold up here, you come down there where you get some warmth.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm liking that.
And maybe we can start a retirement community down there.
Oh, let
me ask you. So
a floating retirement community.
A catch and release retirement community.
If you don't want to fish,
we'll call it the end. We'll call it the beginning. How about that?
If you don't want to fish, can you just go on the boat and drink beer?
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, and then you get
We're good
released.
at that. We're good at that.
We'll catch you, you drink the beer, then we release you.
So
and you're on your own.
To our listeners,
we'll
say Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We'll be back at the beginning of the year. And it's been a great first season. I'm Mark.
I'm Gary.
This is the Gary and Mark Show.
Yeah.
And we'll look forward to seeing you in a few days.
You know, you're going to be flooded with fan mail. You just know that.